Hi, everyone. Last weekend, last Saturday, I was involved with my first ever Fate game. And the person that ran it was his first time GMing any RPG. So I found I did find things were quite impressive with the way he handled his first time experience. And he did very little wrong, only very minor things like worrying about did they catch the clues with certain things that he said and that, and just very minor things. Overall, really thought that Chris, the group member, did a quite impressive job, and including the creating characters as well. We started at 10, roughly about 10 o'clock-ish, 10, 11 o'clock, and we didn't finish till just after midnight, somewhere or gone midnight, so it was a long session. Really was. Actually, if I include character generation all in one session, this is the longest session I've ever had. So of course towards the end we were flagging and that, but we did get to finish it. Overall, yeah, for Chris to tackle what I find personally one of the most hardest games a GM could tackle for their first ever game. For me, I thought he did really great, really wonderful job there. He didn't really put hardly a foot at a place with it, and he's really got to give himself a really good pat on the back. Now, for me, when it comes to the system itself, I enjoy the actual main system with the, when it comes to the plus and minuses. A system where you roll the dice and the minuses take away the pluses, and you add your skill and stuff like that. That's nice. It's quite rules light in that respect. Things I didn't like about the game, these are the reasons why I probably would never become a GM for this particular game, even though I did enjoy overall the experience of Fate. There was just a few things that I was uncomfortable with, uneasy about. Now when it came to character creation, where it was brainstorming the world, creating the world together, I liked that as a feature, but there were certain aspects of character creation that I felt uneasy about. It was just the way it was set up and that. I can't really go into details as I can't quite remember, but I know I was feeling quite uneasy, quite uncomfortable, because it was a very different experience for me. It's sort of like a culture shock sort of thing, because I'm so used to other games like the Pathfinder, D&D type games, Call of Cthulhu and others. Well, this is a more narrative anyway, which is nothing wrong with that, but it was just quite a different thing for me, and there were certain aspects of the character creation that I wasn't comfortable with. I was quite uneasy with, but I can see maybe after a while, with a few characters being generated, I might end up feeling more comfortable with that way of doing things. Now there was one other thing that I did find a little bit I didn't like too much personally. I was quite uncomfortable with, and that is when it comes to where you can actually do something where it can change the other character, what's happening with the other characters, and that sort of thing, where either the environment or something to do with the character itself. I wasn't so keen on personally. Anyway, it just didn't feel great to me as such. I can see the benefits of doing that, as if you come up with a good suggestion and yeah, or something that was a really great idea, yeah, I can see that as, you know, positives. But I was just very uneasy about the way that system works as such, for people that really know Fate. But that sorry. That said, overall I do like the flow of Fate. It's not as it's nowhere near crunchy as Pathfinder and some other games. It flows quite nicely. It's not a rules heavy game, I would say, at all, but there are aspects to this game that maybe just doesn't fit me, or doesn't fit my style of game as such. It's the reason why I find that it would suit Chris as a GM, and I've got the Fate core book as well. But definitely a game that I don't think I would put myself forward for as to GM this game, to be honest. I think because of the way Chris handled the game, and it definitely seems to be he's quite suited for that particular game. And maybe that's the case with a group where there's everyone within my group wants their hand at being a GM, which I mean, how often do you get that in any group? I mean, that's rare. You might have one, if one main GM, or maybe another one as well that may GM now and then. But having all of them that are keen to GM is rare, so that's a great thing, really. And there's another thing to do with the Chris being a first-time GM. He did ask, with certain environments, what do you think will the environment look like, rather than him automatically coming up with everything. And I thought, well, he wasn't learnt that, and I don't think it was in the book as such. So that was neat. That was really great that he did that. He got the group interested, even me, even though this is the problem. I have been ill a heck of a lot lately. I mean, even through my wedding, my sister's wedding, I mean, I wasn't well anyway. So not being well and getting through a game's not too easy. But he did get everyone engaged with the game, and I did go for the kidnap plot, which I came up with my character background, and the actual game itself was sort of like X-Men sort of feel to it, but it was quite toned down with the abilities and stuff like that. I was, I can calm down people's emotions and sort of stuff like that, but my price would be that I could end up trembling with it. It's sort of like I'm afraid it could be a psychic thing, and it affects me, makes me weaker every time when I uses that particular ability, which I didn't really get much of an opportunity to use my abilities in the game, which is not anyone's fault. It's just the way sometimes it happens. And some of the things you do, like I decided to literally disable some of the more fancier cars in this warehouse, this harbour warehouse, to make sure, just in case the shit hits the fan, basically, that they don't get away, because they'll automatically get in the cars so they don't get away. I knew there was a van or two about anyway. Okay, some decisions don't always sit 100% well with people, but personally I felt it was the right choice to do, because I didn't know how things would turn out, and my character, that was the only thing. There wasn't much my character could exactly do, and maybe that's some fault with the way the character was created. Maybe it should have been something should have been included where I could have been a little bit more involved with things, but that's okay, that's alright. But overall, yeah, it was a really interesting game. We used the 2012 thing as the onset of these powers. Suddenly people started gaining minor abilities like mine, calming down of emotions, be able to, you know, soothe people's emotions if they're irate or angry at me or something like that. I can literally, you know, get things to a calmer state, and do with the diplomacy specifically. It's very handy to do with that, even though in that story I was pretty irate that the niece was gone and stuff like that. Overall, really great first game from him, and I look forward to the next game on Thursday, and just go from there. Really, these are the only, out of what I've said, these are the only minor things I find. Well, I'm uncomfortable with this game. It's the first game I have felt a little bit uncomfortable with certain aspects of a particular game, so this one is literally the first one for me, but it's made me realise it's one of the first games I probably would never GM, because I'm more comfortable with the Call of Cthulhu basic roleplay system. I'm learning the D6 system as well, which I'm really liking. I like the feel to that. I like the D&D, so I do like particularly my favourite 5th Ed D&D. So for me, GMing those type of games I'm quite comfortable with. For me, with Fate, probably not. The only one I will be really getting out of my comfort zone for me would be Vampire the Masquerade, what used to be under White Wolf. I believe they've changed hands again. I don't know exactly who's got the license and that for it. I just felt that was such a shame that whatever happened. I don't know exactly what happened, so if anyone could tell me or put me onto a video explaining what the hell happened with White Wolf, that would be great. But I'm going to run probably one game at some point, so yeah, I'll probably enjoy that. But that's me at my comfort zone as a GM. With Fate, I've come out of my comfort zone as a player, and I've learnt things, good in some ways, uncomfortable in another, as I explained in this video. So yeah, these are my feelings on Fate itself. Maybe over the next few games or so, however long Chris is going to run it, maybe the next game, because it's a heck of a lot shorter, I'll feel more comfortable with it, and maybe after generating a few characters I may just feel that just a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more better, but I'll just have to see. So yeah, thanks for watching. These are my thoughts and feelings on Fate and Chris's first time as a GM, which I say again was an impressive first go at it, honestly. I mean, how many people would jump in for the first time and do a game of that length? I could imagine people maybe doing between 2 and 4 hours, but the length he did, I mean, he deserves a lot of credit for it. Anyway, thanks for watching, till next time.